Picture this. You wake up on a summer's Saturday morning and the weather's looking beautiful. You've had a full 10 hours sleep, you just got promoted at your job this week, and you check your phone to see a text from Madison Beer asking you out on a date. This is the best you've ever felt in your entire life. There's nothing in this world that could bring your mood down right now. You agree to go on the date, but since it's planned for later in the evening, you've got some time to kill. So you decide to kill that time with some League of Legends. You queue up for a rank game, lock in your main champ, and lose. For the rest of the day, you continue to queue up just to get Disco Nunu'd, full negative win rate teamed, and sorry guys, first time Yasuo'd 13 times consecutively. Goodbye, sweet LP. You then miss your date with Madison Beer due to being blinded by rage, and her fans raid your home and consume you alive for making her upset. You've been had. By what exactly? Losers Q, the most evil being in all of existence, a monster, the demon of all demons, so wicked that not one person has ever escaped its clutches alive. Remember earlier when you were in such an amazing mood that you thought literally nothing could bring you down? That thought meant nothing to a guy like Losers Q. That's right, the reason you went on that 13 loss streak, the reason you go on any loss streak, and the reason that climbing feels like such a long, arduous, and painful journey is all because of the existence of Losers Q. I lied. Well, kinda. I didn't lie about the fact Losers Q is real, because in a sense, it is very real. It is holding you back, and it is making the game much more painful for you. I lied about what Losers Q actually is. I implied that it was some kind of inescapable demon that's forcibly ruining your League experience, but that's not exactly true. It's actually something you can very easily beat. So, I'm gonna show you how it's not really some monster. It's simply a trash take. Oh shit, cool new intro with a funny song and a fancy graphic at the end. Could this be a new series? Yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. Welcome to Trash Takes, the series where I'll take the stupid opinions that plague this community by stopping people from climbing and shit on them. And I figured, what better way to open this series than with the shittiest take of them all, Losers Q. Yep. That's right, what you thought was a system implemented by Riot to force you into losing a bunch of games so you don't climb too fast is actually just an idea. A stupid and useless idea. So if it's just an idea, does that mean I lied when I claimed that it's the reason you go on loss streaks? Or when I said it's making climbing feel long and painful? No, because it does. Or more specifically, I guess I should say your belief in it does. Just to be clear, I don't blame you for having the belief that Losers Q is real, by the way. When you play ranked, it's an undeniable fact that a lot of games are just not winnable. That's just how League is. If you play for long enough, eventually you're going to get put into a bunch of unwinnable games in a row, and of course, under those circumstances, it makes complete sense to believe that you've been put into Losers Q. But the thing is, because you now believe in it, it becomes a real thing even though it isn't. Let me explain what I mean by that by presenting you two scenarios. Imagine a scenario where Losers Q is a real system. What effects would it have on you? It would 1. Cause you to go on loss streaks, and 2. Make you feel like you have no control over the outcome of the games you play. Now imagine a scenario where Losers Q isn't real, but you still believe it exists anyway. You would probably give up on a lot of games in Champ Select or loading screen that you would normally have a good chance of winning, because you would look up your teammates, see that they have bad win rates, and assume that you've been placed in Losers Queue, right? So then you think you have no chance of winning, but you actually do, but then you'd give up and you'd lose the game. This would then cause you to go on a lot of loss streaks, and it would also make you feel like you don't have control over your games. Did you notice anything? In the second scenario, Losers Queue isn't real, but you still experience its effects anyway because you believe that it's real. Your belief caused the effects of Losers Q to become reality, which means Losers Q itself ended up becoming reality, even though in that scenario it should never have existed. And now here's the epilogue, or rather the punchline to this whole thing. The second scenario, that's reality. That's your exact situation. So basically what I'm saying is, Losers Q is not a real system implemented by Riot. But if you believe it's a real system, then you end up experiencing its effects, essentially making it real. So the proof that Losers Q is real that I mentioned in the title is your own mind. Don't believe me? Still think Losers Q is a genuine system? Fair enough, to be honest, you could be right. There could very well be a system that Riot has in place to force you to lose lots of games consecutively, to keep you addicted to the game or whatever. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. Even if Losers Q actually does exist, Losers Q is real is still a shit opinion to have. But before I explain why, let's have some fun and check Reddit, the home of the most intelligent individuals on the internet, to see whose side they're on, mine or yours. More specifically, let's check this thread titled, "Is Losers Q and Winners Q a real thing in League?" Pretty harmless question if you ask me. I'm sure all the answers to this thread will be incredibly cool, calm, and collected. Yes, otherwise why the fuck do you get 20 games in a row with good teammates, then 20 games in a row with shit ones? It is real. Designed so right it keeps you playing their stupid game with the illusion of ranking up. It's 110% real. It's definitely a thing. It is real. Yes, definitely, despite people saying otherwise. Don't listen to any other comment. There is no proof that losers queue exists and vice versa. Alright, let's get back to the topic at hand. Even if losers queue is real, believing in it is still stupid. Why exactly? Because it's useless. Let's participate in a little exercise. Try to think of one single way in which believing in losers queue benefits you. I'll give you a few seconds. Alright, time's up. Either you thought of none, you thought of one but it's dumb, or you thought it protects your ego. I've thought about this for a while and asked a lot of smart people, and that's pretty much the only benefit I can imagine that you can come up with. But I mean, if you think of another one, feel free to comment it. But as for this one, I can understand where you're coming from, but it's still not a benefit. If you go on like an 8-game loss streak, it probably feels a lot better to say, guess I got put in losers queue, than I succumbed to my emotions and kept queuing despite being tilted after losing a couple of games, and subsequently I lost a lot more games because of it. Or I'm bad. But the thing is, saying guess I got put in losers queue to yourself doesn't help you at all, whereas saying the other two statements could allow you to learn from any mistakes you made and improve in the long term, even if neither of those statements are true. It really sucks to admit that you aren't perfect, but if you don't want to be stuck below diamond for the 4th season in a row this year, then you gotta make some changes. And of course it is entirely possible that you actually had 8 unwinnable games in a row, but thinking about the fact that they were unwinnable, again, literally has no benefit to you. It's much better to think, how could I have played those games better so you can still benefit from those losses in the long term. Even if the games were so unwinnable that even a faker would have lost them as well, he definitely would have gotten closer to winning them than you did. In other words, you still have room to improve and grow, so think about that rather than the fact that you lost or the fact that you're stuck in losers queue. In conclusion, no matter whether losers queue is real or fake, it is and always will be nothing more than a trash take. Bars. And that's it for the first episode of this series. I decided not to show any specific takes in this one since it feels like 80% of the League community is complaining about losers queue on a daily basis anyway, so I thought it'd be much better to speak in a general sense for this episode. In the future though, hide your kids, hide your wife, and most definitely hide your shit League opinions, because I'm going to be out for blood. But yeah, that's all for this video guys. Cheers for watching, in a bit.